Wearing number 13 and playing wing, Ryan Maxfield. Wearing number 15 and playing wing, Matt Healey. Wearing number 2, Sam Hall. Wearing number 4, Chris Dupuis. Wearing number 5, George Casey. Wearing number 6, Jason Johnson. Wearing number 10, Liam Jett. Wearing number 12, Tom Smith. Wearing number 16, Adam Walk. Wearing number 20, Gene Campbell. And wearing number 21, Darren Coloni. The MSJ Rutland Raiders are coached by Glenn Olson and Dirk Stupert. And now for the home team Mounties, wearing number 30 and playing goal, Mike Hogan. Wearing number 12 and playing defense, Chris Cosgrove. Wearing number 16 and playing defense, Trey Schaff. Wearing number 11 and playing center, Jeff Brisbane. Wearing number 2 and playing wing, McGregor Chadwick. Wearing number 17 and playing wing, Luke Bauman. Wearing number 21, Dan Mershon. Wearing number 14, Will Gage. Wearing number 9, Nick Barrett. Wearing number 7, Matt Rosenthal. Wearing number 5, Peter Nazveschuk. Wearing number 18, Aaron Galliette. Wearing number 29, Tyler Tracy. The MSJ Mounties are coached by Mr. Jeff Johnson and assisted by Paul Hogan and Gary Lanabush. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you all stand and join us in our national anthem.
Tonight, and the crowd is starting to file in a lot better. I knew it would. There's still a lot of seats available if you're right in the neighborhood here, Royce Mandigo Arena. I'll tell you, those first two games, as we mentioned, MSJ went out quickly, just smoking, and you thought the rout was on in both cases, the regular season game and also the championship game of the holiday tournament. But then the Raiders came roaring back and made a game of it before the Mounties won both games late. So the Mounties winning the earlier two games by a goal in each game. Getting down to just a few more left in the regular season. A doubleheader coming up on Saturday. It'll be in Game 1 on Saturday. Remember, the Saturday doubleheaders get underway a little bit earlier at 5:30. In Game 1 on Saturday, it'll be MSJ and CBU at 5:30 to be followed by Rutland and Middlebury. And we'll have both games for you beginning at 5:20. Of course, we have boys basketball on Friday night, MSJ hosting Brattleboro. Then the doubleheader in hockey on Saturday. The seedings and pairings, and of course, they're easy to figure out in hockey. You just look at the standings in Division 2. The seedings and pairings are coming out, I believe, on Tuesday the 20th. Tuesday the 20th is the final night of the regular season in boys basketball for both MSJ and Rutland. We'll have MSJ hosting Mount Anthony, and then the seedings and pairings will come out later on in the week. Traditionally the following Saturday, but it could be earlier than that, and we'll have to find out. But we get into the postseason now, and of course girls basketball already in the postseason. So we'll be set to go. The lineup as we gave it to you, it'll be Mike Gunther, Matt Daly, Mark Gunther, Ryan Maxfield, and J.B. Smith. So a little bit of a change for Rutland from the alignment we gave you earlier in the pregame show. Jeff Brisbane with Luke Bauman, McGregor Chadwick, Chris Cosgrove, and also Trey Shaft in there right now for MSJ. Puck down, we're underway as the Raiders get it into the Mountie zone. And back forward, Chris Cosgrove chops it around left wing side for McGregor Chadwick. Poked away. Brisbane had it for a moment. Mark Gunther keeps it in at the point. Sends it to the end board in behind Hogan. And back forward is Chris Cosgrove. Sends it left wing side now for McGregor Chadwick. Mountie zone. McGregor gets it up to center to Luke Bauman over the red line. And he rifles it into the Raiders zone. Deflected toward the end board by Lane Batorti as the Raiders try to clear it out. Kept in along the line by Bauman. Poke checked away by Mike Gunther, but kept in by Cosgrove. With it now is McGregor Chadwick along the near boards in the Raiders zone. McGregor Chadwick for the Mounties, and he lost it to Matt Daly, and he clears it off Ryan Maxfield back out to center, and back forward Trey Shaft at his own line, fires into the Raiders zone wide of Batorti. This will be icing against MSJ. We're just underway. MSJ and Rutland, their third matchup of the year in hockey as the Mounties change up. Nate Barrett, we failed to mention Nate Barrett in the pregame introductions, but Nate Barrett comes on. Will Gage for MSJ. Campbell, Johnson, and Casey, Sam Hall, and Liam Jett for the Raiders right now. This is the draw to the left of Mike Hogan. 14-11 left in the first period, no score. MSJ and Rutland, the draw to the left of Mike Hogan, controlled by the Mounties. It goes to Cosgrove up to Dan Merchant. Merchant tries to clear it out for Gage, and it was poked toward Cosgrove, but he finally does clear it out off the far boards, and skating it down. Shaft to the right wing circle, save Batorti, and on the rebound it goes to the end board. Batorti with a beauty as Trey Shaft had an opportunity for the Mounties, and Campbell clears it out from center all the way back down into the Mountie zone, and back forward is Nate Barrett. Whistles it around far boards, intended for Shaft, kept in by Campbell. Gage with it. He swings it around left wing side up to center by Mark Gunther, all the way back down into the Raiders zone. So the first bid belonged to the Mounties. A great save by Lane Batorti. Raiders get it out to center. Nate Barrett sends it into the Raiders zone. Liam Jett pokes it back out to center. George Casey with it. For the Raiders up over the red line. Casey sends it too far for Campbell into the Mountie zone. It'll ricochet in behind Mike Hogan. Barrett swats it around for McGregor Chadwick left wing side. He's bumped with it. Jason Johnson, top of the circle shot, deflected to the end board. Back forward, Chris Cosgrove for MSJ, trying to send it to Bauman. It took a funny bounce. Mike Gunther had it for a moment. The Mounties trying to clear now. Ryan Maxfield keeps it in. Along the near boards, near corner now. He's bumped, got it to the end board. Matt Daly with it. In behind Hogan. Daly sent it to the left wing circle, deflected by Brisbane. Mike Gunther had it for a moment, sent it to the circle. And Nate Barrett clears it out for McGregor Chadwick, still in his own zone. And he lost it. It went back toward Hogan. He leaves it for Chadwick. Chadwick in behind his own cage. Mike Gunther and Daly in checking for the Raiders. Left wing pass up to Cosgrove. Cosgrove's pass off the skate of Bauman into the Raiders zone. And Mark Gunther sends it out to Mike Gunther. Gets it over the Mountie line. He's brought down by Chadwick, and then he whistles it around the boards. Along the near boards now to the right point to J.B. Smith. Sent it to the circle where it's knocked down by Jeff Brisbane. Brisbane got it up to Cosgrove to Chadwick over the Raider line. He's got Bauman with him. Chadwick wanted to go to Bauman. Deflected. Couldn't get the stick on it. Nice play by Mark Gunther, who came back to poke it away. And then the cage came off the mooring as Gunther and Lane Batorti went into the cage. But a nice defensive play by Mark Gunther as we have a stoppage in play. 12-13 left first period, no score. So the first bid belonging to the Mounties, and there the Mounties had a 2-on-1 break, but a great defensive play by Mark Gunther.
Nice play by Jeff Brisbane, Jack, to get that play started in the Raider zone.
Chris Dupuis in and off the draw. The Mounties controlled it off the top of the right wing circle. Schaaf's shot knocked down, and finally it was deflected up over the glass and out of play. Trey Schaaf along with Chris Cosgrove, Dan Merchant, Will Gage, and Aaron Guyette for MSJ. So the draw will come outside the Raider line now. Chris Dupuis, Kaludi in there. Adam Walk is in there. Sam Hall and Liam Gent for the Raiders. It's going to come just inside the Raiders zone. And off the draw comes outside to center. And Gage whistles it in behind Lane Vittorti. He'll leave it for Liam Gent up right wing side for Kaludi. Can't clear. Cosgrove keeps it in for MSJ. Cosgrove to the end board for Merchant. Centers it top of the slot for Trey Schaaf. Sent it in front off the stick of Guyette. Went to the end board. And back forward Liam Gent for Rutland High. Lost it to Merchant. In front. Save. Vittorti. Puck loose. Comes out to the top of the slot. Gage partially fans on it. Liam Gent with it, and Liam Gent looks to clear up for Walk, and finally the Raiders do clear it out to center. Kaludi with it. Over the Mountie line, Kaludi shot deflected to the end board by Gage and Cosgrove. Cosgrove hit. We have a penalty coming up here against the Raiders, I believe. Should be checking from behind. It is. And so the Mounties will go on at their first power play opportunity of the hockey game. It'll be Chris Dupuis going off for the Raiders, checking from behind MSJ on the power play. No score, 11:29 left here in the first period.
MSJ's had the better chances early, Jack, but I'll tell you, Lane Vittorti's come up big a couple of times, and the Raider defense has helped out clearing the puck out of that zone.
So the Mounties on the power play. Play back in. It's Bauman over the red line. Had it poked away. It goes to Gage over the red line, and he whistles it in behind Vittorti. Round the boards near corner, dug out by Trey Schaaf. MSJ on the power play. 11:15 left first period, no score. They're pinching up along the near boards. Still pinching. They dig it loose to the circle, and the Raiders clear it out to center. Nice play by Jason Johnson, but Chadwick gets it to Gage. Now to Bauman at the Raider line. Bauman skates it over the line now. Left wing pass to Trey Schaaf. Top of the left wing circle. Wanted to go back in front to Bauman. Bauman grabbed it and shot it in wide as J.B. Smith initially fanned on the clearing. Brisbane tried to center it. Smith got it back again and clears out to center on a nice play. And it was hit by a high stick at center ice, so we have a stoppage in play. Minute 18 left on the Mountie power play, and it was hit by a Mountie high stick, so they'll have the draw back in the MSJ zone. 10:46 left first period, no score. MSJ and Rutland, their third matchup, and it's game one of our doubleheader tonight at the Royce Mandigo Arena. Mike and Mark Gunther, J.B. Smith, and Matt Daly, the four skaters for the Raiders. Brisbane, Bauman, Chadwick, Trey Schaaf, and also Will Gage, the skaters for the Mounties on their power play. And McGregor Chadwick starts it up right wing side, gets it up to Bauman, off him up to center, and Mike Gunther shoots it back into the Mountie zone and behind Hogan. And back forward is McGregor Chadwick coming up on a minute left on the Mountie power play. Got it up to Brisbane. Right wing pass to Gage over the Raider line, bumped by J.B. Smith. But now Bauman with it at the circle, sent it in front, deflected off Mark Gunther. And Trey Schaaf couldn't get a stick on it in front, and the Raiders clear it back down into the Mountie zone. 45 seconds left on the Mountie power play. 10-12 left first period, no score. Mounties will start it over again. McGregor Chadwick starts it up left wing side in his own zone for MSJ. Sends it past Brisbane into the Raiders zone by Liam Gent to the end board in behind Vittorti. Liam Gent now sent it for J.B. Smith, and J.B. Smith managed to clear it off Matt Daly all the way back down into the Mountie zone. 22 seconds left on the Mountie power play. Back forward McGregor Chadwick, and he's bumped by Ryan Maxfield, but Chadwick starts it up right wing side, gets it ahead now to Gage over the red line, backhands it into the Raiders zone to the end board, and back behind Vittorti, Sam Hall swats it around along the near boards. McGregor Chadwick has it at the point. He whistles it in, deflected on the way through by Merchant. It goes wide. Now Gage out to Cosgrove right point, whistles it in, it goes wide. Penalty over, both teams at full strength. The Mounties still buzzing around in the Raiders zone. Trey Schaaf along the near boards. Trey Schaaf had it deflected by Maxfield. Raiders try to clear. Sam Hall can't clear. Went back to Schaaf, now to Chadwick. His shot deflected top of the circle by Dupuis. It came out to center, and Cosgrove sends it back into the Raiders zone, and the Raiders clear at the length of the ice. And this is no icing. I believe Hogan got a piece of it. Jason Johnson almost grabbed the puck as he almost beat Nazveschuk to the puck, but Nazveschuk get it out to Cosgrove. His pass at center, stolen away by J.B. Smith. The Jason Johnson bumped at the Mountie line. Cosgrove the other way. Over the red line, he lost it to Kaludi at the Raider line. Kaludi got it back out to center. Cosgrove gets it to Merchant. Merchant's pass intercepted by Campbell, and Campbell dumps it into the Mountie zone to the end board and back for Cosgrove. Johnson in forechecking. Kaludi also forechecking as Veschuk looking for it. Johnson digs it out for the Raiders. Johnson at the end board. Johnson changes direction near corner. Mountie zone. Jason Johnson for Rutland High. Poked away by Cosgrove. Mike Gunther overskated it. Now Gage out to center for the Mounties up over the red line. On Mark Gunther, he's bumped, but he gets it to the Raiders zone to the end board in behind Lane Vittori. Tries to center it. Nobody there except Darren Kaludi as he intercepts for the Raiders. Skates it up to center. Bumped by Brisbane. And the puck goes to Cosgrove in the Mountie zone. Cosgrove now sent it to Veschuk. Gets it out to Brisbane. Brisbane swats it off the near boards. J.B. Smith intercepts for the Raiders at center. Dumps it back in to the Mountie zone. By Nate Barrett it went. Digging it out is Maxfield. Had a man parked in front. And the puck knocked away by Brisbane in front on a nice play. Now McGregor Chadwick with it. Right wing pass at center for Bauman to the blue line. Whistles it in wide of Lane Vittori. Around the boards it comes. McGregor Chadwick in forechecking on J.B. Smith in behind Vittori. Centers it, and Brisbane couldn't get a stick on it, but it goes to Bauman. Top of the left wing circle. Holds it, and then out to Cosgrove. Back to Bauman. Along the near boards. Bauman sent it to the side of the cage. Knocked away by Vittori. Brisbane had it. Poked away. It goes to McGregor Chadwick. Chadwick and Brisbane trying to dig it out. So is Maxfield and Mike Gunther. And it's chopped along the near boards where Cosgrove whistles it in. Stopped in front by Mark Gunther, and he skates it out for Rutland High. Mark up over the red line. Mark on Nate Barrett into the Mountie zone. Mark Gunther in deep in behind Hogan. Gunther tried to wrap around and went across the crease to the far boards. Raiders keep it alive. Maxfield at the left point. Set it to the far corner to Daly, and Mike Gunther couldn't get a stick on it down the slot. Barrett intercepts and clears it back down into the Raiders zone. Nice play by Nate Barrett. No score. 6:50 left first period. MSJ and Rutland. Raiders get it out to center. Took a funny bounce, but Mark Gunther overskates it. But Maxfield there at the red line. He lost it to Merchant. Gent knocks it away now. And toward the Mountie line where Nate Barrett has it for MSJ. Skates it to the red line and dumps it into the Raiders zone. In behind at Lane Vittori. In forechecking Gage and Merchant. They're bumping each other. Puck comes loose to Kaludi, and he backhands it all the way back down into the Mountie zone. And if this makes the goal line, it would be icing. No icing. They wave it off. Mounties control. Nate Barrett left wing pass up for Cosgrove. Cosgrove wanted to go up the shaft, knocked away by Liam Gent. Finally got it into the Mountie zone where Barrett picks it up again for MSJ, sends it to Cosgrove. Cosgrove one-time pass up the shaft, shaft off the far boards for Gage, and Gage backhands it into the Raiders zone behind Vittori. Backboard Sam Hall for Rutland High, pass up for Kaludi by him. Cosgrove sent it to the circle. Hall knocks it away, and the Raiders clear it out. Adam Walk up to Kaludi over the red line. Kaludi over the Mountie line. Bumped by Cosgrove. Cosgrove steals. Cosgrove in behind his own cage. Sends it right wing side for shaft off him to Gage. Gage up to center for MSJ. And his pass goes off the skate of Merchant, deflected into the Raiders zone where Smith gets it out to center. Smith found it again. Chopped it off the near boards. Knocked back into the zone by Nate Barrett. Backboard Gene Campbell for Rutland High. Mounties change up. Campbell sent it out to center. And we have a whistle and a stoppage in play here. I don't know what happened here. There was some kind of... There's a roughing call coming up against MSJ along the near boards by the Mountie bench. The Raiders will be going on the power play. Roughing on Trey Shaft. That happened out of our sight here. Apparently something happened right in front of the MSJ bench here.
It looked as though, Jack, J.B. Smith was right in front of the Mountie bench, and Trey wanted to get off the ice. And the only way he was going to get off is to go right through J.B. Smith, and that's what he did, and the referee saw it.
So the Raiders, who successfully killed off the Mountie power play opportunity earlier, now go on the power play, and MSJ will be skating a man down here with 5:30 left first period.
The Raiders, Jack, have yet to put a shot in on Mike Hogan. He hasn't seen a shot on goal yet in his first period.
Draw just outside the Raiders zone. Got into the Raiders zone. Brisbane skates it down. Can't get the shot away. Mark Gunther there. and knock it away, or at least bother him a little bit, but Brisbane still controlling. Brisbane out of Gage, off him out to Chadwick, and he whistles it in. It goes wide. A rifle shot round the boards to Bauman. Bauman whistles it in, and it's knocked away by Patorti, and he finally gloves it and hangs on. Patorti actually gloved it all the way and hangs on. We got a stoppage in play here, so right after the Mountie penalty and the Raiders on the power play, the Mounties took play early in that Raider power play opportunity. A minute 40 left on the Raider power play. 5:09 left, first period, no score. Draw to the left of Lane Patorti. J.B. Smith swats it around right wing side for Matt Daly. Matt Daly bothered by Brisbane and Daly at the end board. They're pinching up along the boards. Now digging it out is J.B. Smith, and J.B. sends it off the far boards to center. Bauman fans on it at center, and Mark Gunther finds it and dumps it into the Mountie zone to the end board. Bumped by McGregor, Chadwick. They both go down. Will Gage is bumped by Ryan Maxfield. Chadwick sends it along the far boards. Another penalty coming up here, and this is a penalty for checking from behind.
Will Gage is down on the ice.
And Will Gage has been shaken up. This will go against the Raiders. It's on Ryan Maxfield, so they will be skating 4-on-4. Both teams will be a man down. And in a minute and 8 seconds, Trey Schaff will be back for MSJ, and the Mounties will have a short 52-second power play opportunity. Will Gage is down. He's being administered to right now. Will Gage has been shaken up. So that penalty against Ryan Maxfield for checking from behind. So they'll be skating 4-on-4. 4:37 left first period. There is no score. As they still administer to Will Gage here at the far corner in the Mountie zone off to our right. Game 2 tonight will have about a 20 to 25 minute break. I think they called a double minor on Ryan Maxfield, checking from behind and also for boarding. I believe that was the call, a double minor on Ryan Maxfield. So he'll be off for 4 minutes. Just going to remind you that Game 2 tonight will have a 20 to 25 minute break between games. It'll be Mill River and Middlebury. So a minute 8 left on the Mountie penalty to Trey Schaff. A double minor on Ryan Maxfield, checking from behind and boarding. So the Mounties, instead of when Schaff is back, instead of having a 52-second power play, we'll have one of 2 minutes and 52 seconds, if my arithmetic is correct. A 2-minute, 52-second power play for MSJ when they're still administering to Will Gage off to our right. And while we have a stoppage in play, let's take this 30-second timeout. Again, to recap, Trey Schaff in the box for the Mounties for another minute and 8 seconds, and a double minor on Ryan Maxfield, checking from behind and also boarding. And Will Gage, I'm not sure if he's holding his right arm. I'm not sure if he'll be back. His right arm or his elbow, but he's going to be led off the ice toward the locker room. And MSJ certainly with some problems depth-wise right now can ill afford an injury here to Will Gage, but apparently, at least right now, it doesn't look like Will be back, but we can't speculate, but they are leading him to the locker room off to our left. So they are skating 4-on-4 for a minute and 8 seconds until Trey Schaff comes back, and then the Mounties will be going on a power play that will last, assuming nothing else happens, for 2 minutes and 52 seconds. Remember, on a double minor, you score in the first one, they wipe off the first 2 minutes. Of course, right now they're skating even strength anyway, 4-on-4. They have an opportunity to make some hay on a double minor for sure. His play back in, Cosgrove with it, his own zone, gets it to Bauman, and Bauman one times it the length of the ice, and that should be icing, and it is. I think Bauman thought they might have been a man down.
Find open lanes here. Gotta find a lane for him.
So it's icing against MSJ, and we'll have the draw to the right of Mike Hogan in the Mountie zone. Luke Bauman, Chris Cosgrove, Jeff Brisbane, McGregor Chadwick for MSJ, Mark Gunther, J.B. Smith, Mike Gunther, and Matt Daly. For the Raiders, they're skating 4-on-4. The draw to the right of Mike Hogan. Off the draw, it goes to Luke Bauman. Bauman skating around, bumped by Daly. Bauman got it to Cosgrove. Cosgrove bumped by Mike Gunther. Gunther digs it out. Gunther sent it in front, and Daly Healey is cleared away and is skating it up to center now, right wing side. Chadwick over the red line. He's got Brisbane with him over the Raider line. Chadwick down the middle, ridden off the puck as Mike Gunther over for it. Bumped by Brisbane, and here come the Raiders the other way. Mark Gunther got it out to center where Cosgrove shoots it in from outside the blue line. It's offside MSJ. And they're going to call this one a delivered offside, and the draw will come back in the Mountie zone. 28 seconds left in the Trey Schaff penalty. In 28 seconds, when he comes back, the Mounties will be going on the power play. 3:20 left on the Raiders penalty to Ryan Maxfield. In the box right now, the double minor. 3:57 left in the first period. MSJ nothing, Rutland nothing. So the draw in the Mountie zone to the left of Hogan, Gene Campbell, and Jeff Brisbane. Off the draw, loose in the circle, but Smith with it along the near boards to Campbell. Right wing circle, whistles it in, knocked away by Hogan. Kaludi in. Kaludi at the end board, bumped by Cosgrove. Kaludi controlling. Changes direction. He's in behind Hogan. Cosgrove knocks it away, squeezes it out, right wing side for Brisbane. Brisbane skates it up to center. They're still skating 4-on-4. Brisbane over the Raider line. Brisbane cuts it in up at 20. Backhander goes across the crease. And they keep it alive. Merchant wanted to go to Chadwick, comes out to center. Shaft is back, so the Mounties now on a power play for 2 minutes and 48 seconds. And we got a whistle. I'm not sure what they called on that one. Was it a hand pass? At any rate, we have a stoppage of play. As the Mounties now on the power play for 2 minutes and 47 seconds. 3:24 left, first period, no score. We'll have the draw just outside the Mountie zone now.
It's an important sequence for the Mounties right here, Jack. They losing a player, plus, like you said, losing the last 3 of their last 4 games, they've lost a certain amount of confidence too. So they need to get a goal to get some of that confidence back.
The game, for obvious reasons, for the league and as far as MSJ and Rutland are concerned, they both lost 3 out of 4 coming into this. As Merchant gets it into the Raiders zone, back for Jason Johnson, but he's bumped by Trey Schaff. Schaff in front, the quick shot, save for Torney, and the rebound is knocked away out to the left point. McGregor Chadwick sends it to Brisbane. That was Merchant in front before. Down to Bauman, he shoots and scores! At the right wing circle, Luke Bauman on the power play. And the Mounties lead it 1-0 with 3 minutes left. First period, the Mounties are on the board. And they'll only wipe off 24 seconds of that double minor to Ryan Maxfield, and the Mounties will continue on the power play.
I believe the assist on that's going to go to Jeff Brisbane. What a nice play set up by the Mounties.
Well, MSJ doing here in Game 3 what they did in the first 2 games, getting the lead here. There should be still time left. They're going to put 2 minutes. Should be 2 minutes left on Ryan Maxfield's penalty, so the Mounties continue on the power play. Luke Bauman on the power play goal for MSJ as they lead it 1-0. Play back in. Trey Schaff with it now. Schaff over the red line, dumps it into the Raiders zone in behind Lane Vittordi. The Raiders try to shake it out of their own zone. It comes up near side for Matt Daly. Tries to clear it out, but stolen in the zone by Jeff Brisbane. Brisbane, wrist shot, save for Vittordi. Bauman with it at the circle out to McGregor Chadwick. Back, he wanted to go to Bauman at the left wing circle. Liam Jett on a nice play, and he manages to squeeze it out to center. And we have a whistle. And a tripping call coming up here on McGregor Chadwick, so that negates the rest of the Mountie power play. McGregor Chadwick going off for tripping in 1 minute and 34 seconds. When Ryan Maxfield comes back, the Raiders will have a short power play opportunity of 26 seconds. A tripping call on McGregor Chadwick. Who did they give the assist on?
Well, Jack, they actually gave it to Dan Merchant and McGregor Chadwick. I know Dan Merchant didn't touch the puck on that.
Well, Merchant had it early in that sequence. He had it in front, but
really?
At any rate, Bauman on the goal. Right. Play back in. They're skating 4-on-4. The Mounties lead it 1-0. 2:27 left in the first period now. Cosgrove sends it across ice. Right wing side for Schaft in the Mountie zone. Schaft clears it to the Raiders zone. Mark Gunther back for it. Team skating 4-on-4. Gunther gets it up to J.B. Smith over the red line, over the Mountie line. Skates it left to right. Got it to Mike Gunther. He's bumped. And this is going to be offside. Or are they going to call... Or is it another penalty? It is another penalty for tripping. I'm sorry. It's Luke Bauman going off for tripping. So now the Raiders go on the power play. They call a penalty. A minute 37 left on the Chadwick penalty. Now Bauman going off in a minute and 11 seconds. The Raiders now have a one-man advantage skating 4-on-3. They should have only 3 skaters. In a minute and 11 seconds when Maxfield comes back, the Raiders will have a 5-on-3 advantage. Play in J.B. Smith. Sent it off the glass along the far boards. Trey Schaff finds it and clears it all the way back down into the Raiders zone as Patorti leaves it for Mark Gunther. In a minute, Maxfield will be back, and the Raiders will have a 2-man advantage. They have a 1-man advantage now. J.B. Smith skates it into the Mountie zone, deep to the far corner on Schaff. Trying to get it out to the point, knocked away by Merchant, all the way back down into the Raiders zone. And Patorti way out of the cage, leaves it for Mark Gunther. Gunther left wing pass now for J.B. Smith over the red line from outside the blue line. Fires in on Hogan, and he makes the save. Leaves it for Brisbane, and he manages to clear it out to center as Smith couldn't keep it in at the left point. Gets it to Mark Gunther. Mark Gunther now to Mike over the line, and they are offside this time. A minute 31 left first period. MSJ 1, Rutland nothing. Luke Bauman on the power play goal for MSJ. And right now, the Raiders have a 4-on-3 advantage power play opportunity in 31 seconds. When Ryan Maxfield comes back, the Raiders will have a 2-man advantage for 26 seconds. As 57 seconds left on Chadwick's penalty for the Mounties. A minute 21 left on the penalty to Bauman. The draw just outside the Mountie zone. With it, Sam Hall over the red line. He's looking and whistles it in behind Mike Hogan. Comes around the boards along the near side. Liam Gent fires in wide of Hogan around the board. Sam Hall with it. Sam Hall sends it to the far corner to Gene Campbell. Campbell out to the point to Liam Gent. Lines it up. Wrist shot. Save. I think it hit Hogan in the mask. Out to Hall along the far boards. Whistles it in. Blown by Hogan, and he hangs on. That was targeted perhaps for the upper right-hand corner. We've got a stoppage in play. The draw to the right of Mike Hogan in the Mountie zone. In 5 seconds, Maxfield will be back, and the Raiders will have a, I guess officially, a 27-second 2-man advantage. Right now they have a 1-man advantage. A minute 5 left in the first period. 1-0 MSJ. The draw to the right of Mike Hogan near the Mountie zone. Trey Schaff with Gene Campbell. Campbell for the Raiders. Campbell wins the draw out to Sam Hall at the left point. Back to Campbell. Penalty over to Maxfield. Now Gent right wing circle shoots it in, deflected to the far corner. The Raiders now with a 2-man advantage for 20 more seconds. Hall to the right wing circle to Gent. Lines it up. His shot wide of Hogan. Around the boards, bouncing puck. And now we got an interference call coming up. Now the cage came off the mooring, and I think it's on Hogan. That the Raiders will have a good portion of a 2-man advantage. I don't know if Hogan knocked the... That wouldn't be an interference call, though, would it? Or I guess it would be. If Hogan knocked the cage off the mooring, he might have. So 46 seconds left in the first period. 1-0 MSJ. Right now, Rutland is skating 5-on-3. 13 seconds left on Chadwick's penalty. 37 seconds left on Bauman's penalty. And the penalty to Mike Hogan, somebody's got to serve it. Wouldn't start until the penalty to Chadwick is over. So the Raiders have a 2-man advantage for a little while here. As a matter of fact, they would have one for at least 37 more seconds. Somebody's got to serve the penalty. We still haven't heard an announcement if indeed that was interference on Hogan. Is Cosgrove going to serve the penalty? I don't know.
That's what it looks like, Jack.
But still no. Did they call it on Hogan? That's still hasn't been cleared.
I know one more thing. If they put any more players in that penalty box, they're going to have to put an addition on it.
Well, it doesn't start until that penalty to McGregor Chadwick, so that'd be that would give the Raiders another 24 seconds of a 2-man advantage here after Chadwick. So 4 and 3 is 7. They have a 37-second 2-man advantage right now. Cosgrove is in the penalty. Mike Hogan for interference, the Mountie goaltender. So the Raiders getting 5-on-3. That penalty to Hogan, served by Cosgrove, won't start until Chadwick's penalty is over in 13 seconds. So the Raiders continue to skate 5-on-3. We have 46 seconds left in the first period. And the draw in the Mountie zone to the right of Mike Hogan. Brisbane and Mike Gunther. Merchant over there. They're looking for it. Mark Gunther takes it out, top of the slot. Fires in. Save on the rebound. Daly. He scores! Matt Healey ties it up for Rutland High at 1-1 with 36 seconds left in the first period. A power play goal for Matt Healey. Now that means there was still 3 seconds left on the Chadwick penalty. He'll come back. The penalty continues to Luke Bauman for 27 more seconds, and the penalty will start to Chris Cosgrove, or Mike Hogan's penalty served by Cosgrove. Matt Healey ties it up for Rutland High on the power play. Two-man advantage, as a matter of fact.
That was an excellent rush there by Matt Healey, Jack. He just found a lane there, and he just came in on Mike Hogan, put a shot off and grabbed the rebound and tucked it right by him.
Now, wait a minute. They should be still skating 5-on-3. They got 4 skaters out there. That's not right. I don't believe. Wait a minute. Yeah, there should be. The Mounties have 4 skaters out there. There should be 3. Because the penalty now starts to Mike Hogan. Okay, crowd has picked up nicely. We have a nice crowd here. They call that unassisted?
Yeah.
Play back in Healey, pass Maxfield, got it in the Mountie zone and is cleared out by Merchant. 30 seconds left in the first period. Mark Gunther got it to Mike. Mike over the Mountie line. Mike wanted to go to Maxfield by him as Brisbane knocks it away to Merchant. Merchant tries to clear it out. Mark Gunther with it along the near boards. 18 seconds left in the first period. Mike Gunther with it. Mike Gunther lost it. Nice play by the Mounties. McGregor Chadwick got it out to center. J.B. Smith has to wait for the zone to clear and dumps it back into the Mountie zone. As now Bauman is back. It's a one-man advantage for the Raiders. Mark Gunther along the far board. Shot knocked down as time expires, ending the first period. But a Mountie has been shaken up at the buzzer off to our right. As the Raiders will continue on their power play going into the second period. There's a minute 25 left on the penalty to Mike Hogan being served by Chris Cosgrove. A Mountie has been shaken up here at the end of the first period. We have played one. It's 1-1 after a period as the Raiders continued on their power play. And we'll sort out the injury. The Mounties have already lost the services of Will Gage. We're not sure who that is. Off to our right. So we played a period, and quite a first period indeed here. The third matchup of the year between MSJ and Rutland. After a period, our score, MSJ 1 and Rutland 1. We'll sort off, I believe, that Matt Healey goal. They said unassisted. I can't believe that's right. He scored it on a rebound. A minute 25 left on the Raider one-man advantage going to the second period. And there is a Mountie that's been injured off to our right. So we're tied up at 1-1. We'll sort everything out. 1-1 after a period. We'll be back after this timeout. Matt Healey, Mark Gunther, J.B. Smith, and Ryan Maxfield. The skaters for the Raiders, Jeff Brisbane, McGregor Chadwick, Luke Bauman, and Trey Schaap, the 4 skaters for the Mounties. Again, the Raiders on the power play. So Mike Gunther and Jeff Brisbane on the draw. We're underway finally in the second period in a 1-1 hockey game. The Raiders on the power play. Brisbane sends the puck into the Raiders zone in behind Patorti. J.B. Smith with it. Starts it off right wing side for the Raiders. J.B. Smith skates it up to center, up over the red line. Poked away by Brisbane at center. Maxfield with it. Maxfield looking. Maxfield had it knocked down, but it goes to Mike Gunther over the Mountie line. On the far boards. Gunther for Healey at the slot, knocked away. Back to Gunther. Gunther at the circle. Can't get a good shot away. Goes to the far corner. Ryan Maxfield with it. Out to J.B. Smith. One times it goes in off the right pad of Hogan. Might have got a piece of that as Healey tried to deflect it on the way by. Mark Gunther tried to center it. Nobody there. Kept alive by J.B. Smith to Healey. Top of the left wing circle. In front to Maxfield. Shot wide. Back to Healey. Maxfield lost it. Back to Healey to Mark Gunther. Top of the left wing circle. Shoots it in high off the glass. 34 seconds left on the Raider power play. Still in the Mountie zone. The Raiders putting on the pressure. Jeff Brisbane finds an opening and clears it all the way back down into the Raiders zone. Back forward, Mark Gunther sends it up to Maxfield over the red line. His pass deflected, but it goes right to Mike Gunther. He's bumped by Bauman. Puck loose. Brisbane with it now. Brisbane at the end board, his own zone. Swats it around. Far boards kept in by J.B. Smith. Lines it up. Hit it off the end board. It goes back to Brisbane, and he clears it the length of the ice. 5 seconds left in the Raider power play. Early going second period. We're in a 1-1 hockey game. The penalty is over to Hogan, served by Cosgrove. Both teams at full strength. Puck now going to Nate Barrett, his own zone. Sends it back in his own zone for McGregor Chadwick. Chadwick sends it across the red line for Shaft over the Raider line. Poked away by Mark Gunther. Got it up to J.B. Smith. J.B. Smith had it poked away, but it goes back to Mark Gunther at the red line. Fires in wide of Mike Hogan. This will be icing against the Raiders. That came from outside the red line. And we'll have the draw to the right of Raider goaltender Lane Batorti. Liam Gent, Sam Hall, Gene Campbell, George Casey, and Jason Johnson for the Raiders. Aaron Guyette, Pete Nazveschuk, Trey Schaff, Nate Barrett, and Chris Cosgrove for the Mounties. 13-13 left second period, tied up at 1 apiece. Draw to the right of Batorti, Campbell, and Trey Schaff. Won by the Raiders. Liam Gent swats it around near boards in forechecking Aaron Guyette. Raiders try to dig it out and get it out of the zone. Barrett keeps it into the end board. Back forward, Sam Hall swats it around for Liam Gent. Pass goes by Johnson, but it comes up to center. Johnson tried to skate it down, did at the red line, and sends it in Lamounty zone. Johnson on a chase, bumped by Cosgrove, loose in behind Hogan. Casey in forechecking, comes loose to Aaron Guyette. And Guyette manages to clear it out for the Mounties. Liam Gent with it now. Back to Sam Hall at the red line. He fires into the Mountie zone. It'll ricochet along the far boards by Cosgrove with it. Campbell wanted to center it, knocked away by Hogan. It goes back in behind the cage with it. Casey swings around to the left wing circle. Out to the point that Gent lines it up. Shot deflected off the boards in behind Hogan. Campbell in forechecking. Mounties try to clear. Gent keeps it in along the line. Sent it past Campbell at the right wing circle. Barrett knocks it behind the cage to the end board. Trey Schaff comes over, swats it around, and gets it up to Aaron Guyette, and Guyette pokes it out to center. Back forward, Liam Gent for the Raiders. Gent into the Mountie zone. Gent now drops it for Campbell along the line, comes out of the zone. Casey sends it back into the Mountie zone, and Cosgrove will ice the puck, and they will get a line change here, icing against MSJ. 11:55 left second period. We're tied up at 1 apiece. Game number 3, MSJ and Rutland in hockey here at Royce Mandigo.
Raiders doing a good job early on this period, Jack, keeping the play in the MSJ zone. MSJ had an icing there just to get that line change.
Mike Gunther on the draw for the Raiders. Jeff Brisbane for the Mounties to the left of Mike Hogan. Off the draw, it went right back in on Hogan. They get the whistle. It went to McGregor Chadwick along the far boards. He sent it back toward his own goaltender. Hogan smothered the puck and got the whistle. 11:51 left in the second period, tied up at 1 apiece. Brisbane and Mike Gunther again on the draw. Draw goes to McGregor Chadwick, got it to Cosgrove, back to Chadwick, couldn't clear, kept in by Liam Gent. Mike Gunther looking forward at the right wing circle. Maxfield in there as well. Gunther leaves it at the slot, and trying to get a stick on it was Daly. Now Maxfield and Barrett on a battle at the end board, Mountie zone. Daly digs it out along the near boards. Daly. Maxfield also there. Goes in behind the cage now as we have a whistle. And let's see, do we have a penalty coming up? We do have a penalty coming up against Matt Daly of the Raiders for roughing, I believe. And the Mounties will go on the power play. And the draw will come outside the Mountie zone. 1-1, 11:22 left second period.
Is that what you call a makeup call?
I think I gotta say, and I don't say too much about it, but I didn't see anything, but I'll be darned if I saw that one. But I'm keeping an eye on other things like the puck. And remember, I don't have the red glow around it, or the blue glow around it like Fox does. Play back in, Mounties control, Cosgrove to Chadwick, up to Brisbane at center. Mounties on the power play over the Raider line, right to left. Brisbane to the left wing circle, rifles it in. Save, and they score on the rebound, Luke Bauman! And the Mounties retake the lead, 2-1 with 11:12 left, second period. That too is a power play goal. Luke Bauman with his second goal of the hockey game. I believe that was on the rebound.
I believe it's going to be Brisbane.
Vittori made the initial save, and Bauman had the open net, picking up the rebound. It's 2-1 MSJ. Brisbane on the assist. Was one assist given, and it's 2-1 MSJ. That was a power play goal. Both teams at full strength now. Brisbane with it over the Raider line. Brisbane to the left wing circle, whistles it in. Save Vittori, and he hangs on as the Mounties put pressure on immediately after their goal. The initial shot before came off the stick of Brisbane. Vittori made the save, but he left the rebound for Luke Bauman, who tucked it in. His second goal of the game, both on the power play. All 3 goals in this game tonight have been on the power play, and MSJ has a 2-1 lead. Now 10:59 left, second period. Draw to the right of Lane Vittori in the Raiders zone as Veschuk, Guyette, Matt Rosenthal in, and McGregor Chadwick, and also in is Trey Schaff for the Mounties. The Raiders get it out to center. This game's getting rough. We got a penalty coming up against MSJ. Adam Locke was hit at center ice, and unless there's going to be matching penalties, it might be. I'll tell you, we anticipated we got an interference call on Darren Kaludi of the Raiders. And also, I thought we had a matching penalty. I thought somebody else was going off, too. It is. It's going to be Pete Veschuk. They are matching penalties. One for interference, and one on Kaludi. I'm not sure what the other call was. So they were skating 4-on-4. One was charging. One was interference. And you had to think that with the couple of injuries in the first period, that this has been a rough hockey game. I don't know how many penalties we've had so far. We've had a whole bunch, obviously 3 power play goals out of the 3 goals in this game. All 3 have been scored on the power play. They're now skating 4-on-4. 10:45 left here in the second period. 2-1 MSJ. And as Veschuk off for MSJ and Kaludi off for Rutland. Way in, it's in the Raiders zone. Campbell tried to knock it away, had it knocked down. Bauman in forechecking, got it to the end board. Back forward is Mark Gunther. Gunther sent it off right wing side for Casey. Was knocked down. Mark Gunther got it back again. Chadwick's in forechecking, and Mark Gunther starts it off right wing side. Pass up the center to Campbell. Some open ice. They're skating 4-on-4. Campbell into the Mountie zone, left wing circle. Campbell on Bauman. Campbell tried to center it. Nobody there. Deflected by Chadwick right to Brisbane in behind his own goaltender. And Brisbane starts it off left wing side for MSJ. Sends it off the near boards. And Mark Gunther swats it back off the boards for Casey. Casey retreats toward his own line for the Raiders and dumps it all the way into the Mountie zone. And it should be icing, but no icing. They wave it off. Cosgrove back forward for the Mounties. Cosgrove whistles at the length of the ice. And that's icing. 1:03 left in the matching penalties. They're skating 4-on-4. We'll have the draw to the left of Mike Hogan in the Mountie zone.
And we've had 9 penalties so far in this one, Jack.
It's a rough one. 2-1 MSJ. All 3 goals scored on the power play. Bauman's got 2 for the Mounties. Matt Daly scoring the Raider goal on the power play. 9:49 left, second period. Draw to the left of Mike Hogan. Mountie zone, Mike Gunther for the Raiders. Jeff Brisbane for the Mounties. And the Mounties skated out now. Left wing side, it is McGregor Chadwick up over the red line. Chadwick had it poke checked away by Gent. Nice play, and Chadwick had himself offside MSJ. 53 seconds left on the matching penalties. Now Veschuk for the Mounties and Kaludi for the Raiders.
I think it's probably safe to say with the emotions running high as they are right now, we'll probably have a couple more penalties before this one.
We might. Mike Gunther and Brisbane on the draw just outside the Raiders zone. Off the draw, Chadwick dumps it into the Raiders zone in behind. Lane Vittori back forward. Sam Hall for Rutland High, but in forechecking Bauman. He's bumped by Hall. He goes down. Gent tries to clear it away. Can't. Kept in at the left point by Chadwick. To the right point to Cosgrove. Whistles it in. Save. Vittori leaves the rebound, but Hall there. Hall in behind the cage. Bumped by Brisbane. Hall regains control and swats it off the near boards intended for Daly. Cosgrove keeps it in. For Bauman off him to the circle, and Gent tries to clear it out. Kept in by Cosgrove. Cosgrove to Bauman. Bauman sends it to the end board. Back forward Sam Hall for Rutland High. Hall sends it off right wing side. Kept in at the left point by the Mounties. McGregor Chadwick shot went in wide. It comes all the way out to center. 6 seconds left on the matching penalties. Cosgrove at his own line. Get it out to center. Now Mike Gunther with it. Skates it over the Mountie line. Bumped by Shaft. It's offside. Raiders The 2 penalties are over, both teams at full strength. The matching penalties, Nazveschuk for the Mounties and Kaludi for the Raiders. 2 penalties over, so the team skating full strength now with 8:47 left, second period. 2-1 MSJ.
Baby, you feel like you're in a heavyweight fight?
Yeah, it sure is.
There's a lot of action in this one.
Green Campbell up with Johnson and Casey, J.B. Smith, Mark Gunther, Shaft, and Nazveschuk and Aaron Guyette with Nate Barrett and Chris Cosgrove for the Mounties as J.B. Smith swats it in behind Hogan. Mountie zone. Nate Barrett swings it around. Far boards off Cosgrove. Nazveschuk with it now up to Shaft. Shaft dumps it ahead. Wanted to have Guyette go in on the fly, but intercepted by Mark Gunther on a nice play. Got it up to Campbell to Johnson. Had it knocked down at center by Barrett. Barrett lost it to Casey at center. Casey bumped by Nazveschuk. It goes to J.B. Smith, and he had it deflected, but it goes right to Campbell. Lost it at the Mountie line. It was poked away by Shaft. Skating it over the Mountie line now. Left wing side is Mark Gunther. Bump near corner. Johnson comes over. Raiders in for checking. Johnson dumps it in, and it's deflected up into the air and grabbed by Mike Hogan. Campbell was there as well. Hogan gloves it and hangs on. Will have a draw in the Mountie zone. We'll have the draw to the right of Mike Hogan in the Mountie zone with 8:03 left, second period. It's 2-1 MSJ.
MSJ's got 4 shots on goal this period, Jack, and the Raiders have 3.
Mike Gunther taking the draw for the Raiders with Jeff Brisbane. Brisbane wins the draw, goes to Shaft, swats it around left wing side for McGregor Chadwick. Chadwick puts on a move as he starts it up, and off the near boards, wanted Bauman, but it goes off the near boards all the way in. Vitorti can't clear. Brisbane shoots it in behind Lane Vitorti. And the puck sitting there. Mark Gunther lost his stick, but managed to get it out to Mike, and Mike clears it out to center. Back forward, Trey Shaft to the red line for MSJ. Gets it for Chadwick over the line, whistles it in, save Vitorti, and the rebound knocked away. Chadwick gets it back again, tried to center it, and the Raiders clear it out to center. And it will trickle all the way back down to the Mountie zone. Back forward, Nate Barrett gets it up to Cosgrove, shadowed by Daly. Got it up to center to Chadwick, and Chadwick sends it into the Raiders zone, and back forward for Rutland High is Mark Gunther. Gunther starts it up the middle, looking. His pass intercepted in the zone by Chadwick. To the left wing circle, shoots it in wide. It whistles around all the way out to center, and back forward, Nate Barrett. His own line for MSJ. Got it to Cosgrove. Cosgrove's pass too far for Chadwick. Mark Gunther ricochets it, deflecting it off teammate Ryan Maxfield in the Mountie zone. Maxfield hustling all the way. Now Mike Gunther with it in the zone. Lost it to Shaft. It is cleared out to center. J.B. Smith had it stolen away by Nazveschuk to Chadwick into the Raiders zone. Chadwick bumped by Daly. They both go down, and here comes the penalty for tripping. Matt Daly will be going off. Penalty number 10 in this hockey game. 6:42 left, second period. 2-1 MSJ, and the Mounties go on the power play.
Greg just bumped me, Jack, and he said that's actually penalty number 11. He missed one.
Oh, number 11. Check it. Okay.
11.
This is an intense MSJ Rutland hockey game.
Started out with about 50 people here.
Yeah, it's really, there's a huge crowd now.
All kinds of emotion on this Valentine's Day.
The draw will come in the Raiders zone to the left of Lane Vitorti. The Mounties go on the power play. Puck loose. And the Raiders managed to clear it out to center. Nate Barrett swats it back in. Jen had swatted it out. Now J.B. Smith with it, and Smith sends it out to center. Gene Campbell wanted to go to Johnson, went behind him, intercepted by the Mounties' Chris Cosgrove, but Johnson gets it back again for the Raiders over the line, and his shot deflected to the end board by Shaft, back for Cosgrove. It's the Mounties on the power play. Now Luke Bauman starts it up the middle for MSJ. Luke Bauman up over the red line. Bauman stops and whistles it in wide at Vitorti. Near corner, Liam Jett over for Rutland High, finds an opening and clears it the length of the ice. A minute 24 left on the MSJ power play, coming down in 6 minutes left, second period. MSJ with a 2-1 lead. Great play by Campbell as he steals the puck from Cosgrove, but he's bumped by Cosgrove. Shaft goes down. Johnson has it. Lost it to Trey Shaft, and Shaft clears out to center for Chadwick on J.B. Smith over the Raider line. And Chadwick goes to his knees, slides toward the board. He and Smith bump. Bauman and Smith bump. Now with it is Campbell, and he chops it off the near boards all the way back down into the Mountie zone. In on Mike Hogan, and he will leave it for Chris Cosgrove. 50 seconds left on the MSJ power play. Cosgrove to Chadwick over the line to the circle. Whistles it in wide. A rifle shot. Comes all the way back down into the Mountie zone. 40 seconds left on the Mountie power play. 5:20 left. Second period. 2-1 MSJ. Nazveschuk, right wing side. In his own zone. Bumped by Maxfield. Mark Gunther comes over. Goes back to Nazveschuk. Get it out to center. Intercepted at the red line by Gent. Had the pass knocked down, and with it now is McGregor Chadwick. Chadwick sends it to the Raider line where Mark Gunther one-times it back into the Mountie zone, and Cosgrove back for it behind his own goaltender. 15 seconds left in the MSJ power play. Chadwick left wing side up to Brisbane over the red line. Down the middle to the right wing side. Raider zone to the right wing circle. Bumped by Maxfield. Got the puck to Nazveschuk in the circle. Centers it. Wants Trey Schaff. Schaff looking for it. It ricochets out to the point to Cosgrove to Chadwick. One-times it saved, but 20 penalty over. Both teams at full strength as Daly is back. Puck loose in the circle. Brisbane had it knocked down. Brisbane gets it back again. Now to Aaron Gayetti. Fans on it at the slot. Back to Cosgrove. Along the near boards. Gets it to past Gayet. Back for it. Mark Gunther was in behind Patorti. And Gunther manages to clear out to center. Daly almost had it. And Chadwick knocked it back into the zone over the line. Offside MSJ. So the Raiders successfully kill off that MSJ power play opportunity. As Daly back, both teams at full strength. 4:18 left, second period. MSJ 2 and Rutland 1.
A couple of chances they did have on that power play, Jack, were McGregor, Chadwick, Cannons. Cannons coming in on that left point there. I'll tell you, you let some go, but they were wide of the net.
The draw just outside the Raider zone. Trey Schaff and Chris Dupuis who's in there now. Nate Barrett with it for the Mounties over the Raider line. Top of the circle, sending it wide. Patorti leaves it, and for a moment Jed had it, but now Dupuis with it, and his pass intercepted by Gayet, and he's bumped back forward Sam Hall. Swats it around for Jed, back to Hall, in behind Lane Patorti. 4 minutes left, second period, and the Raiders want to clear it out. Kaludi lost it to Nazveschuk. Nazveschuk sent it to the slot. Now Hall with it for the Raiders. Still in his own zone, gets it out to center. Now Nate Barrett for MSJ. Dumps it back into the Raiders zone, and back forward is Liam Jett for Rutland High. Sends the puck up into the air. Up at center, Kaludi, the hand pass. And then a little bit of fisticuffs, and Kaludi's going off. Kaludi is going off. Initially, I saw him with a hand pass. What do they call?
He took a swipe at the MSJ player right in front of the official. Not a smart penalty at all for Darren Kaludi.
See, I didn't realize he had done that. I saw it's a double minor. Elbowing. Let's see. Delay of game. And roughing, probably. A double minor on Darren Kaludi. 3:41 left, second period, so the Mounties have a 4-minute power play now coming up. Mounties lead it 2-1. All 3 goals in this game scored on the power play. Bauman's going to appear for MSJ, and also Daly. I guess you can say that's penalty number 12 and penalty number 13 in this game. Double minor. Still, I never did see any signals. I saw the stick swing, and I thought the referee got hit. But that's about all I saw. Like I say, I have my own job to do here. And I don't know what they're talking about here now, and then we have another delay. It is Darren Kaludi off a double minor. We are only speculating. I never saw a signal where one of them's delay a game, apparently, and the other one is, what they call delay of game, and the other one was holding? Or roughing, I guess. I still haven't.
It was either roughing or hit after the whistle, Jack.
We have another game to follow. Mill River and Middlebury. See if you can hear what they have to say. What happened?
Kaludi's been tossed out of the game.
So he's got a... That's right. So he had the penalty earlier. This indeed is 3 penalties in 1 period. That's right. He had a penalty earlier, and this is a double minor. That's number 2 and number 3. And Tom Smith will serve the penalty. So Darren Kaludi is gone. 3 penalties in 1 period. He's out of the game. Darren Kaludi This game is really getting intense. Throws the stick and rams it on the glass as he went off toward the locker room.
Totally uncalled for.
Tom Smith. How many penalties have we had again in this game now? I've lost count. See if you can figure out how many for each team here. A double minor to Darren Kaludi. Tom Smith serving the double minor. Kaludi with 3 penalties in 1 period is out. And the draw will come in the Raiders zone. 3:41 left second period. 2-1 MSJ. Play back in. Bauman backhands it from the line. Easy save. Patorti sends it to the corner for Mark Gunther, and he fires off the glass along the near boards. Cosgrove keeps it in along the near boards to Bauman. Sends it across the slot far boards, and J.B. Smith rams it up over the glass and out of play. And we'll have the draw in the Raiders zone to the right of Lane Patorti. The announcements.
14 penalties, Jack.
14 penalties in this this game. Roughing, unsportsmanlike, and a game misconduct to Darren Kaludi. He had the game misconduct anyway, plus the 3 penalties in a period. To the game misconduct. So the double minor as the Raiders off the draw. Ryan Maxfield clears all the way in on Mike Hogan, and Hogan will leave it for McGregor Chadwick, shadowed by Campbell. And McGregor Chadwick starts it out left wing side up over the red line. McGregor Chadwick on the fly, drops it top of the left wing circle to Schaff, whistles it in, save, Patorti, a beauty, and the wraparound, Chadwick, he scores! Chadwick grabbed it off the end board after the save. It came right around and beat Patorti on the wraparound. A power play goal. McGregor Chadwick, and MSJ has a 3-1 lead with 3:03 left, second period. Another power play goal, and the Mountie power play will continue because that will only wipe out the rest of the first part of the double minor. With 3:23 left on the double minor, they'll wipe it down to 2 minutes. Bauman on the assist, Chadwick on the goal. The Mountie power play continues. 3 minutes left, second period. MSJ with a 3-1 lead. All 4 goals total in this game on the power play. Play back in Raiders zone. Trey Schaff tried to get it to Brisbane. The Raiders try to clear, kept in by Chadwick, and he had it deflected up over the glass and out of play. Penalty continues to Tom Smith, serving it for Darren Kaludi, who had the double minor, the game misconduct. 3, of course, that because of 3 penalties in 1 period. The double minor being penalties number 2 and 3. Minute 46 left on the MSJ power play. 2:48 left second period. MSJ has taken a 3-1 lead in this one. Confrontation number 3 between the Mounties and the Raiders. A very intense battle here tonight at the Royce Mandigo Arena. As the draw comes just outside the Raiders zone, off the draw, J.B. Smith backhands it into the Mountie zone to the near corner. And Mike Gunther on a chase in behind Mike Hogan. McGregor Chadwick and Gunther on a battle. McGregor Chadwick and now Chris Cosgrove, right wing side. Dumps it way up into the air off the far boards for Chadwick. Nice pass over the red line, over the Raider line. Chadwick left to right, poked away, but it goes to Trey Schaff, left wing circle, save, Patorti, and the rebound knocked to the near corner. Now Cosgrove with it. Cosgrove sends it in front off. Schaff comes to the near corner. Actually, Jett got a hold of it, and Jett whistles at the length of the ice as he tries to kill off the penalty. A minute 8 left on the power play for the Mounties. 2:07 left in the second period. Matt Daly in forechecking, but it comes out to Bauman, now to Brisbane, up to center. Brisbane up over the red line, Brisbane over the Raider line. Brisbane top of the right wing circle, out near the line now. Sent it by Cosgrove to the end board for Bauman. Bauman in behind Hogan, wrapped up by Mark Gunther as he goes down. Over there is Trey Schaff. Bauman sends it to Schaff, and we have a whistle and we have another penalty coming up. This one against MSJ's Luke Bauman. He'll be going off, and this will even things up at 4-on-4. 45 seconds left on that earlier penalty to Tom Smith.
15 penalties and counting.
And what did they call on that one? I thought they were supposed to go to the bench and give you the signal again. They don't seem to do that. They're supposed to go to the scores table and give you the signal again because you don't always see it the first time. At any rate, Bauman is off. They're skating 4-on-4. Still didn't catch it. The draw just outside the Raider line. They're skating 4-on-4. The Raiders in 40 seconds will have a power play. Casey in his own zone for the Raiders. Backhands it out to center. Nate Barrett with it. Backhands it back into the Raiders zone where Casey has it. They're skating 4-on-4. Casey clears it out to center past McGregor Chadwick all the way back down into the Mountie zone. And Hogan, it's going to be icing. It went wide of Hogan. And so we'll have the draw back in the Raiders zone. In 25 seconds, the penalty will be over to Tom Smith, serving it for Darren Kaludi. And in 25 seconds, the Raiders will have a minute and 26-second power play. There's a minute 41 left on the penalty to Luke Bauman, which should carry in to the third period unless we get a score here. Minute 28 left in the second period. Play back in Raiders zone. Trey Schaff lines it up. Lost it top of the slot. Gent tries to clear it. Got it out to Campbell along the near boards. Campbell manages to clear it all the way back down into the Mountie zone. Back forth is McGregor Chadwick, shadowed by Liam Gent. 10 seconds left on that penalty to Tom Smith. And the Raiders will be going on the power play. Chadwick gets it up to center off Brisbane, and it will spin near corner Raiders zone. Back forward Mark Gunther. Penalty over to Smith, and now the Raiders are on the power play for a minute 13 seconds. That's how much time left in the Bauman penalty. 56 seconds left second period. Brisbane with it, ridden off the park. Mark Gunther with it now. Mark Gunther sends it off left wing side at center for Maxfield. Puck on edge, and he overskates it, then kicks it in the Mountie zone, then gets bumped by Cosgrove. The puck goes to the end board. Maxfield avoids a check, has it in behind Hogan. Maxfield tries to wrap around Hogan to save, and he covers up on the rebound. Great individual effort by Ryan Maxfield. 51 seconds left on the Raider power play. 38 seconds left second period. It's MSJ 3 and Rutland 1. Nate Barrett comes in for Trey Schaff for MSJ. Mike Gunther, Mark Gunther, J.B. Smith, Matt Daly, and Ryan Maxfield on the Raider power play. Brisbane Cosgrove, Nate Barrett, McGregor Chadwick, the four skaters for MSJ. Off the draw, Cosgrove tries to clear it. J.B. Smith keeps it in at the point. Sends it to the corner for Maxfield. Out of Mike Gunther. In, and a great save by Hogan. Great bid by Gunther. Cleared out to the right point to J.B. Smith. Sent it to Maxfield now. Maxfield had it knocked down at the circle. 20 seconds left in the period. Maxfield got it back to Mike Gunther. Shoots it in. Glove by Hogan. And he makes the save and hangs on. I believe that might have been J.B. Smith that got it to Mike Gunther. Maxfield had it earlier. And Mike Hogan with a couple of big saves here for the Mounties. 15 seconds left in the second period. 28 seconds left in the Raider power play.
That first save was really a heck of a save, Jack. That second one, he was screened.
And he gloved it.
Didn't look by much. He gloved it.
Picked it right out of the air. A couple of great saves for Mike Hogan as the Raiders putting on the pressure here. Brisbane and Mike Gunther on the draw. And Brisbane tapped it for Cosgrove. Tried to clear J.B. Smith along the far boards. Didn't get good wood on it. Brisbane had it for a moment, but Mike Gunther gets it back, shoots it in wide. And off the end board played by Daly. 2 seconds left in the period as the Mounties try to clear it out, and that's the end of the second period. And an intense second period, an intense hockey game here at Royce Mandigo. 14 seconds left on the Raider power play, carrying into the third period when we come back. We've played 2. After 2 periods of play, our score, MSJ 3 and Rutland 1. We'll be back after this timeout. Third period in both the earlier games. As the puck down, we're underway here in the third period. Puck in the Mountie zone and back forward McGregor Chadwick. 8 seconds left on the Raider power play now. Chadwick tried to clear it out and went right by Mark Gunther all the way out to center. Trickles into the Raider zone. Back forward J.B. Smith. Penalty over to Bauman. Both teams at full strength now. Puck loose at center. Off the far boards. Bauman skates it over the line and then gets hit. Puck comes loose to Mark Gunther. And Mark Gunther starts it behind his own goaltender. Right wing pass for Matt Daly. One times the pass up to center, but intercepted by Bauman. Dumps it back into the Raider zone. McGregor Chadwick with it. Chadwick cuts in deep. Try to center it. Mike Gunther there to steal for the Raiders. Starts it off right wing side now. Poked away in the zone by Brisbane. Got it to Chadwick. Chadwick lost it. So Raiders get it back out to center along the near boards. As now Brisbane breaks it loose, but J.B. Smith at his own line sends it off the far boards, and Barrett from his own line sends it back into the Raiders zone. And back for it is J.B. Smith. J.B. Smith up to Maxfield. Maxfield sends it off the near boards now for Matt Daly. Daly ahead to Mike Gunther, poked away by Cosgrove. Now Brisbane with it. Brisbane over the red line. He dumps it in off the far boards in behind Lane Vittorti. And Vittorti will leave it for Liam Gent. The Mounties change up. 13:48 left in the hockey game. The Mounties have a 3-1 lead. Gent sends it up to George Casey at center. Gets it to Campbell over the red line. Dumps it into the Mountie zone. Campbell on a chase to the end board. Campbell now in behind Hogan. As Johnson parked in front, the pass deflected. And the Mounties get it out to center. Nazveschuk to Guyette. Nazveschuk with it over the Raider line. Nazveschuk is bumped. Got it to Guyette. Ridden off the puck at the top of the right wing circle by Liam Gent. Get it out to center. Gent now sends it ahead to Campbell. Campbell over the Mountie line along the far boards. On a chase with Nate Barrett. Campbell is hit by Barrett. They both go down. Puck in behind Hogan. Johnson tries to dig it out and does. Gets it to Casey along the near boards. Casey looking. Back to Johnson. Johnson sent it off the pad of Hogan. Came out to Guyette. Clears it out to center. Nazveschuk and Hall collide, and Hall with it for the Raiders. And Hall sends it back into the Mountie zone. It will go wide of Hogan. Icing against the Raiders, and we'll have the draw back in the Raiders zone to the right of Lane Vittorti. Interesting play before. The old ricochet play off the pad of the goaltender.
Cam Neely got that perfected for the Bruins. See him do that the other night.
We'll have the draw to the right of Lane Vittorti in the Raiders zone. Brisbane and Mike Gunther, and off the draw, Mark Gunther looking for it along the near boards. Pokes it ahead. Daly got it out to center. It was kept in by Cosgrove. Now Mark Gunther back for it. Gunther sends it off the near boards, intercepted by Cosgrove at the red line, steers it back into the Raiders zone, and back for it is Mark Gunther as it was swatted. Gunther never got to it. Swatted to the far corner by Vittorti, and the Mounties get it back in on Vittorti from the far boards, and he covers up and hangs on. That was Luke Bauman who grabbed it off the far boards. We'll have a draw to the left of Lane Vittorti. Luke Bauman with a pair of goals tonight for MSJ. The draw to the left of Vittorti, 3-1 Mounties, 12:36 left in the hockey game. Brisbane and Mike Gunther off the draw. J.B. Smith tries to clear and does as he got it out to center. Mike Gunther pokes it ahead. Gunther can't skate it down. Back for Chadwick in his own zone for MSJ. Chadwick starts it off and is poked away by Daly in forechecking. Daly near corner. At Daly for the Raiders along the near boards. Lost it to McGregor Chadwick. Chadwick bumped by Maxfield, but it comes out as Chadwick grabbed it again at center and gets it into the Raiders zone. Back for J.B. Smith. Swats it around right wing side up for Matt Daly. Daly gets it to Mike Gunther. Poked away by Brisbane. He's in forechecking. Daly back for it at the end board. Lost it to Brisbane. Brisbane to the near corner. He's bumped. Chadwick comes over. Centers it. Deflected. And it comes out toward the line. Kept in by Cosgrove. Got it to Brisbane. Brisbane to the left wing circle. Fires in. Save! Lane Vittorti. Rebound cleared out as the Raiders get it out. Mike Gunther sends it off the near boards for Maxfield. Tries to chase it down. And he can't before it went across the goal line. But great hustle by Ryan Maxfield. Tried to touch the puck before it reached the goal line. Icing against Rutland High. Will have the draw back in the Raiders zone to the right of Lane Vittorti.
What an effort by Ryan that time. Boy, I tell you, he was flying down that ice. You'd like to see that.
As Veschuk, Guyette, Schaff, Cosgrove, and Rosenthal right now for MSJ. Johnson, Casey, Campbell, Liam Gent for the Raiders. And also Sam Hall, play back in. Liam Gent behind his own goaltender. Swats it around left wing side for Johnson. Kept in by Rosenthal on a nice play. Back for it. Sam Hall tried to clear it out. Rosenthal kept it in at the right point. Dumps it to the left wing circle. The Raiders control Liam Gent. Gent sends it around the cage. Rosenthal keeps it in. Sends it in behind Vittorti. Back forward Liam Gent. Gent right wing pass. Wanted to go to Casey. Took a funny bounce. Intercepted by Guyette. Quick shot. Saved by Vittorti. As it took a funny bounce. And it comes back in front. Nazveschuk in front. And the quick shot. Save. Lane Vittorti. A one-timer by Aaron Guyette. And Vittorti came up with a huge save.
I'll tell you that.
Came off the end board. Nazveschuk picked it up and sent it to Guyette. He one-timed it. And Vittorti came up with maybe the biggest save of the hockey game right there.
And he got really good wood on it too, Jack. That Lane Vittorti just came up with his glove hand and made a beautiful save there.
11:07 left in the game. It is 3-1 MSJ. Play back in, and it's chopped out to center. It will trickle into the Mountie zone. Back for Chris Cosgrove on a chase. Ryan Maxfield's like that Energizer rabbit. He never stops. It's all over the play. As it's still in the Mountie zone, J.B. Smith dumps it to the end board to Ryan Maxfield in behind Hogan. It comes to the near corner now. J.B. Smith over for it. Bumped by Cosgrove. Maxfield over. Also, Matt Daly is in for checking. Knocked away by Hogan. That was J.B. Smith checking. He was in for checking. Now Matt Daly along the far boards. To Mike Gunther, left wing circle, fires in wide. Comes around the boards to Mark Gunther. Shot deflected along the line. Bauman pokes it out to center. Bauman over the red line. Over the Raider line. To the right wing circle. Let's fly. And it goes off the glass in behind. Vittorti comes all the way around the boards and finally deflected at the blue line. Up over the glass and out of play. 10:19 left in the hockey game. It's 3-1 MSJ. 2 goals for Luke Bauman, a goal for McGregor Chadwick, all on the power play. Matt Daly getting the Raider goal on the power play.
3 shots on goal for the Mounties in this third period, Jack, and the Raiders have yet to put a shot in on Mike Hogan.
Tonight's game being taped for broadcast at a later date on Channel 15. Jim Keel is the cameraman. They'll be taping the second game tonight, too. Mill River and Middlebury. Cosgrove from the line, dumps it far corner. Raiders zone over for J.B. Smith. Puts on a move on Trey Schaff. J.B. Smith puts on another move. Along the far boards, left wing side, gets it up for Maxfield and went by him. Nate Barrett keeps it in. Sent it to the end board in behind Vittorti. Mark Gunther now swings it around near side. McGregor Chadwick is in for checking. Mark Gunther tried to dig it out. Brisbane there, so is Chadwick. Chadwick made it come loose to the end board. Maxfield grabs it, though, for the Raiders, bumped by Brisbane. Now the Raiders try to start it out. Matt Daly off the pass from Mike Gunther. Back to Mike Gunther, but he lost it at center to McGregor Chadwick. Skates it back over the line. Bumped by J.B. Smith. Chadwick to the right wing circle. Shoots it in. Deflected up over the glass and out of play. 9:37 left in the hockey game. Guyette and Asveschuk come back in for the Mounties along with Shaft and Cosgrove. Nate Barrett's in there. Casey Johnson, J.B. Smith and Gene Campbell and Liam Gent right now for the Raiders. Now Chadwick on and Hall on for Rutland High, so things will change up. Rosenthal is on and Cosgrove comes off for MSJ. J.B. Smith comes off now as Hall is back on for Rutland High. The draw to the left of Lane Vittorti in the Raiders zone with 9:37 left in the hockey game. Campbell on the draw with Trey Schaff. Off the draw, controlled by the Raiders. Hall chops it around right wing side. Wants to come up for Casey. Casey is bumped by Nazveschuk, but now Liam Gent with it up to center, up over the red line. And Gent fires in behind Mike Hogan, Mountie zone near corner. In for it, Nazveschuk, but Casey there in for checking. Rosenthal tried to clear it away. Johnson had it top of the right wing circle, deflected out to center. Guyette to Chadwick up over the red line. Over the Raider line now. McGregor Chadwick cuts it in. Bumped by Liam Gent, got it to Trey Schaff at the end board. Back to McGregor Chadwick in behind the cage. Sends it for Guyette. Can't get the shot away. Ridden off the puck by Johnson. Nazveschuk kept it alive to McGregor Chadwick. Chadwick now shoots it in from the far boards. Gloved by Vittorti and he hangs on. Nazveschuk and Aaron Guyette doing a nice job of forechecking for MSJ on this particular shift. 8:54 left in the hockey game. 3-1 MSJ.
Matt Rosenthal giving the Mounties some good minutes there.
Yeah, Rosenthal's in there right now with Guyette, Nazveschuk, Trey Schaft, and also Cosgrove. Now Brisbane and Bauman come in. And also Barrett, and the other 3 come out. Gene Campbell will take the draw for the Raiders with Jeff Brisbane to the left of Lane. Vittorti off the draw. Bauman lost it at the circle, and J.B. Smith with it. And along the far boards, intercepted by Brisbane. Now Johnson with it for the Raiders, left wing side. And it just squeeze it out to center. Nate Barrett sends it back in. It'll be a delayed offside against the Mounties, and Smith skates it back out to center. J.B. Smith sends it off the near board, send it into the Mountie zone, knocked back out to center by Cosgrove. Campbell with it. Fans on it at the Mountie line, and lost it to Brisbane. Brisbane for the Mounties at center, puts on a move over the red line and dumps it into the Raiders zone. 8:22 left in the game. MSJ 3, Rutland 1. Mark Gunther with it. Send it to the far boards for Jason Johnson, left wing side. Wanted to go to Campbell, intercepted in the zone by Brisbane. Brisbane lost it to Mark Gunther. Tried to send it out, kept in by Barrett at the right point, back to Brisbane. From the top of the right wing circle, fires in, save, Vittorti. Rebound cleared out by J.B. Smith. Nice kick save, right skate by Lane Vittorti. Back forward, Nate Barrett, his own zone for the Mounties. Send it out right wing side for Cosgrove. He's bumped. Casey and Johnson there. Mark Gunther steals in the zone for the Raiders. Gunther got it to the circle. Brisbane knocked it away. Johnson had it for a moment. Now Chris Cosgrove with it to his knees. Pokes it out to center. Penalty played by J.B. Smith. Penalty coming up against Rutland for tripping. And it's another MSJ power play. Jason Johnson going off for tripping. That penalty was 7:43 left in the game, and MSJ has the 3-1 lead. And how many penalties is that?
16.
16. Mill River and Middlebury to follow. About a 20-minute break after the completion of this game. So MSJ going on the power play. 4 goals in the game. 3 for the Mounties. 1 for the Raiders. And all 4 goals and the power play goal. Draw just outside the Raider line. Matt Daly clears it out to center. Back forward McGregor Chadwick over the red line. And he wanted to let it fly. Deflected by Mike Gunther. Goes to Cosgrove, and he chops it into the Raider zone off the far boards. And behind Patorti, leaves it for J.B. Smith. J.B. Smith lost it to Trey Shaft in behind the cage. J.B. gets it back again for a corner. He's trying to kill off this penalty. He's bumped by Bauman. Mike Gunther comes over. Brisbane in for checking. Pokes it loose for Trey Shaft for a corner. Shaft still controlling for a corner. Shaft out to the right point now to Chris Cosgrove along the far boards. Top of the right wing circle. Gets it out to the point to Chadwick. Shoots it in through a screen. Straight on save. And on the rebound. Save. Patorti again the rebound. And they blow the whistle. And even though the puck came loose, there were a couple of saves in there for Lane Patorti, but they did blow the whistle. And the draw will come to the left of the Raider goaltender. It was 7:05 left in the game, 1:22 left on the Raider penalty to Jason Johnson. Guyette, Nazveschuk, Brisbane, Cosgrove, and Chadwick. For the Mounties, Jet in with Campbell, J.B. Smith, and Ryan Maxfield, the 4 skaters for the Raiders. Campbell for the Raiders and Brisbane for the Mounties on the draw to the left of Patorti. Off the draw goes by Nazveschuk. Chadwick, top of the left wing circle, shoots wide all the way around the boards. Cosgrove with it now. Send it in behind Patorti to the near corner. In for checking is Aaron Guyette along the near boards, and the Raiders clear at the length of the ice. Gene Campbell. Mike Hogan out of the cage, and Hogan will leave it right wing side for Cosgrove up to Brisbane. Brisbane on the fly up to center, up over the red line. Brisbane over the Raider line. Brisbane cuts it in right wing circle on Patorti. Shot it right across the crease. Nazveschuk was there at the doorstep. Liam Gent with it now. Nazveschuk grabs it near corner. Sends it in behind Patorti, and we have a whistle. And was out of our sight here, and apparently well, I thought there was going to be something here along the near boards, but the cage came off the mooring, and that's the whistle.
And I think we could safely say, Jack, a big understatement would be that Lane Patorti is keeping the Raiders in this hockey game, because he's come up with some fantastic saves here in the latter part of the second period, so far in this third period, to keep the Raiders close. 47 seconds left on the Mountie power play. The draw to the left of Lane Patorti. Shaft and Mike Gunther. Puck loose in the circle, and Shaft with it. Far corner. Shaft lost it to Mark Gunther. Mark Gunther now along the far boards, gets it out to center on a chase. Now Daly with it over the line. Chadwick back, left wing circle. Daly at front, wanted to go to Mark Gunther by him. Gunther plays it along the near boards, wanted to go out to Mike Gunther, and it comes out to center. Back forward Liam Gent for the Raiders near his own line, and he had it knocked down and stolen away by Nazveschuk, and then he pokes Nazveschuk checks him at the line as Nazveschuk went down. Now Mike Gunther the other way, gets it into the Mountie zone. Right wing circle, sent it in front, off Daly. Save Hogan, he doesn't know where it is, but they blow the whistle. Well, Mike Hogan coming up big there is the shorthanded bid by Matt Daly, and Hogan had it somewhere in his pads. 11 seconds left on the Mountie power play. 5:54 left in the hockey game. The Mounties have a 3-1 lead. Draw to the right of Mike Hogan in the Mountie zone. Brisbane and Mike Gunther comes out to Mark Gunther, top of the circle, and he flicks it in. The save by Hogan. He gloves it and hangs on. 7 seconds left on the MSJ power play. There have been 16 penalties in this war tonight at Royce Mandigo. Off the draw, Mark Gunther, top of the left wing circle, sends it to Mike down the slot, had it poked away on a nice play by Chris Cosgrove, and Cosgrove clears all the way back down on Lane Patorti. He will leave it for J.B. Smith. Penalty over, both teams in full strength now. J.B. Smith had it deflected, but Matt Daly back forward. He had it deflected by Brisbane. Daly sends it up to center off Johnson, got it into the Mountie
Mountie zone, and Barrett clears it back out to center for Bauman. Bauman out of Brisbane. Brisbane ahead, left wing side to Chadwick. Puts on a move, gets it over the Raider line. Lost it to Daly, but it goes right to Brisbane. Left wing circle. Brisbane back to Chadwick. Fires in front. Bauman shot goes in wide. It was a pretty play, but they couldn't connect, and it comes back out to center. Back for Cosgrove, his own line for the Mounties. Gets it to Barrett in the Mountie zone. Barrett's pass went right by Bauman, the length of the ice. This will be icing against MSJ. Stoppage in play with a draw coming to the right of the Mountie goaltender Mike Hogan. The Mountie zone, 5:03 left in the game. It is 3-1 MSJ. Campbell, Johnson, Casey, Gent, and J.B. Smith for the Raiders right now. Yes, skating on with Brisbane, Trey Schaff, Chris Cosgrove, and also Nate Barrett for the Mounties. They're out to the right of Mike Hogan, Brisbane, and Gene Campbell. And it goes to Barrett, swings it around near side. Guyette, left wing side now. Guyette bumped by Johnson, lost it to Campbell. Shot from the circle, save it on the rebound. It went in wide off of George Casey. Comes back out along the far boards now. J.B. Smith sent it to the end board in behind. Hogan, Casey with it, bumped by Barrett. Now Campbell digs it out near corner. Gene Campbell, and we have a penalty coming up on Nate Barrett, I believe. And the Raiders will go on a power play with 4:40 left here in the hockey game. Barrett going off for MSJ for roughing. And that is penalty number 17 in this game. Are they going to have a matching penalty? Also Casey going off. So matching penalties for roughing. I didn't see the other one. That's penalty number 18. So instead of a power play for the Raiders, they're going to be skating 4-on-4. Matching penalties, Casey for the Raiders and Barrett for the Mounties. Saw Barrett going off the draw. Raiders control for a moment in the zone, but the Mounties clear the length of the ice. This will be icing. Gregor Chadwick cleared at the length of the ice. So it was matching penalties. So they're skating 4-on-4. I was about ready to say a golden opportunity for the Raiders going on the power play, but not the case. Minute 55 now left on the matching penalties. Draw in the Mountie zone to the left of Mike Hogan. 4:34 left in the game. The Mounties have a 3-1 lead. Gene Campbell will take the draw for the Mounties with McGregor Chadwick. Bouncing puck top of the slot. Mark Gunther one times it. It flutters in, and Hogan made the save. Here's Bauman out to center. Bauman now got it for Trey Schaff over the red line. That kind of butterflied in on Hogan. In like a knuckleball, he made the big save. Campbell with it now for the Raiders. And to center, his pass for Johnson got it into the zone, and he was hit hard against the far boards. And we got a penalty coming up against MSJ for roughing. And it's on Luke Bauman. Could have called it boarding, too. And they called it roughing, so now the Raiders indeed on a big power play as they trail by 2 goals. That's penalty number 19. Minute 34 left on the matching penalties. Barrett for the Mounties, Casey for the Raiders, and now it'll be the Raiders skating 4-on-3. And the draw will come outside the Mountie zone of 4:13 left in the hockey game.
The Raiders have 11 penalties in this game, Jack, for 38 total minutes, and the Mounties have 8 penalties for a total of 16 minutes. So,
yeah, of course, you're adding on the game misconduct.
Right.
To Darren Kaludi. Matter of fact, they had 2 game misconducts. Back-to-back play back in. Mike Gunther over the Mountie line. Gunther down the slot. Coming out to poke it away was Hogan on a great play. And Brisbane finds it and clears it all the way back down into the Raiders zone. Hogan came out and knocked it away from Gunther. Here's Gunther again over the line. Mike Gunther in on Cosgrove to the end board. The Raiders on the power play. And Gunther is hit by Cosgrove. He goes down. Matt Daly with it. Sent it back to the end board in behind Hogan. Raiders are skating 4-on-3. It comes to the near corner as the Mounties try to clear it out. McGregor Chadwick tries to, but Mark Gunther keeps it at the right point. One times it ricocheted off Mike Gunther to the far boards. Cosgrove finds it and clears it the length of the ice. 50 seconds left on those matching penalties. A minute 15 left on Bauman's penalty. And so much time left in the Raider power play. 3:23 left in the game. The Mounties lead at 3-1. Mark Gunther over the Mountie line to Daly. Wanted to go, but over to intercept is Jeff Brisbane. Brisbane sends it out to Chadwick over the red line. Over the Raider line. He'll go in alone on Bertorti. Bertorti makes the save. A beauty by Bertorti as Chadwick had the shorthanded bid. Big save for Bertorti, and Cosgrove Cosgrove back in his own zone for the Mounties, sends it up to Chadwick, and he dumps it back into the Raiders zone. Chadwick went in alone. The light actually went on, but Patorti made the save. Here's Campbell the other way. Campbell up over the red line, over the Mountie line along the near boards. Campbell cuts it in behind Hogan. Another penalty coming up to J.B. Smith at the left point, to Jen at the right point, to J.B. Smith at the left point. Fans on it. The matching penalty's over. It is now 5-on-4 advantage for the Raiders. And finally the Mounties touch up, and we have a hooking call coming up against MSJ. 20 seconds left on Bauman's penalty, so it'll be a two-man advantage for 20 seconds for the Raiders. They'll continue on when Bauman is back. That penalty for hooking is on Brisbane. That's penalty number 20 in this game. 2:32 left in the game, and it's MSJ leading it by a score of 3-1. And we have the timeout. And while we have the timeout here, I'm not sure who took it. We can just keep it right here to sort it out. A 5-on-3 advantage now for the Raiders. A two-man advantage just a few moments ago. What a save by Lane Patorti. McGregor Chadwick, a shorthanded bid. Patorti kicked it away. The goal light actually came on, which is always extra entertainment here at Royce Mandigo. But Patorti did kick it away. A great save.
Lane has played some kind of a hockey game here, I'll tell you.
Let's see, Luke Bauman has 20 seconds left on his penalty. Brisbane just off for hooking, so the Raiders right now have a 5-on-3 advantage. Two-man advantage, 2:32 left in the game. The Mounties have a two-goal lead, 3-1. The Mounties have lost the services of Will Gage and Dan Merchant to injuries. Darren Kaludi, game misconduct. As a matter of fact, he had 3 penalties in one period, a game misconduct, then got another game misconduct, which we believe is a game disqualification. He'll have to sit out the next game on Saturday against Middlebury. If the Raiders can score quickly, especially with Bauman still out, they can continue on their power play. That's why that save by Patorti was so big. Obviously, when you have a 2-goal lead, the next goal is so important. The team that has the 2-goal lead, they get the next goal, they're up by 3. It's virtually over, especially at this point of the game. The other team gets it, it's a 1-goal lead. And the draw will come in the Mountie zone to the right of Mike Hogan. 2:32 left in the game. The Mounties lead at 3-1, but the Raiders are skating 5-on-3, a two-man advantage. Play back in, and Trey Schaff with it, along with Chadwick and Cosgrove. The 3 skaters for the Mounties. Mark Gunther now steals, top of the left wing circle, whistles it in, and the save by Hogan. Ricochets off the glass near side. J.B. Smith got it for Maxfield, back to Maxfield, and we have another whistle. And what do we have? Man in the crease? And what they called, I believe they did. Yeah. We'll have the draw just outside the Mountie zone. 2:17 left in the game. 4 seconds left on that Bauman penalty. In 4 seconds, he'll be back, and the Raiders will have a one-man advantage. Maxfield, Mike Gunther, Matt Daly, Mark Gunther, and J.B. Smith, the 5 skaters for the Raiders right now. Play back in. Maxfield sends it to Mark Gunther. Penalty over to Bauman. It's a one-man advantage for the Raiders. Mark Gunther over the line. Mark Gunther to the right wing circle. Mark Gunther sent it in front, and the shot by Maxfield one times it goes over the cage near corner. Back forward, McGregor Chadwick trying to clear it away. Mike Gunther kept it alive to Daly, but it goes right to Chris Cosgrove, and he clears it the length of the ice in behind Patorti, and with Bauman chasing it down, Patorti sends it right wing side for J.B. Smith up to Ryan Maxfield. His pass intercepted at center by Schaff. J.B. Smith got it back again, pokes it into the Mountie zone, and back forward Cosgrove. 1:08 left on the Raider power play. As this came up, we got a whistle, I believe it came up into the bench area. 1:06 left on the Raider power play, the one-man advantage, 1:38 left in the hockey game, and MSJ has a 3-1 lead. And we'll have the draw at center ice. Keep an eye on Lane Patorti as well. Indeed, of course, right now they have the one-man advantage. Campbell, Johnson, Casey, Mark Gunther, and J.B. Smith. Shaft along with Cosgrove, Chadwick, and Bauman for the Mounties. Cosgrove his own line, dumps it into the Raiders zone, and back forward is J.B. Smith. J.B. Smith skates it up to center. J.B. Smith left wing pass for Campbell over the Mountie line. Campbell on Cosgrove. Campbell to the end board in behind Hogan, has Johnson parked in front, and coming over to smother the puck on the side of the cage is Mike Hogan. The puck was left there, and we'll have a draw in the Mountie zone. 1:21 left in the game, 49 seconds left on the Raider power play. 3-1 MSJ.
Lane Patorti's out, Jack.
And now the extra skater because of the power play. Now another skater for for the Raiders as Petorti is out of the cage with the draw in the Mountie zone. So an empty net on the Raiders side here. So right now, the Raiders 6 skaters on 4 because they also have the power play for another 49 seconds. Chadwick and Mike Gunther on the draw to the right of Mike Hogan. Play back in Campbell to the far corner. Campbell looking, still looking. Campbell sends it out to the left point to Mark Gunther. Mark Gunther sends it to the top of the slot to Mike Gunther to the point to J.B. Smith. Fires through a screen. It goes wide. Luke Bauman finds it, clears it the length of the ice wide of the empty net. And, of course, they're trying to kill off a penalty, so certainly no icing. 28 seconds left on the penalty. Of course, Petorti out of the net. Up for J.B. Smith up to center. Gets it to Mark Gunther over the line to the left wing circle. Mark Gunther has Campbell in front, still controlling. Skates it to the right wing circle. Out to the point to J.B. Smith. One times it, and we got a save, but a man in the crease. They blow the whistle. And I thought they blew the whistle because of the man in the crease, but I believe they have a penalty coming up, too, to Chris Cosgrove.
There's no signal at all, Jack.
So now...
But he is going out.
So Cosgrove is off. 13 seconds left in the penalty to Brisbane. Now Cosgrove is out of the game completely. I don't know if they called a game misconduct. I mean, I have seen no signal. I forgot now how much time was left in Brisbane's. They've moved it back to 2 minutes. 45 seconds left in the game. It's 3-1 MSJ. Now MSJ with 3 skaters. And the Raiders with 6 skaters because they've also pulled the goaltender. 13 seconds left on Brisbane's penalty. They took that off the board. Now Cosgrove, he had a penalty. I'm surprised they blew the whistle because the play was still in. There was a save. It could have been a rebound. 45 seconds left in the game. They finally put 13 seconds up on Brisbane's penalty. Now Cosgrove does get a minor as well as I have no idea what they called. No signal at all. None.
How we know is that was the 21st penalty.
Might be the 22nd. They called 2 penalties, a minor and a... Let's see, Lane Petorti is out. Of course, Brisbane in the box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The Mounties have 3 skaters, so in effect, they're skating 6 on 3 here with a 2-man advantage as far as the power play is concerned. Tyler Tracy will serve the penalty. What'd they call?
I think it was a game misconduct.
Tyler Tracy would have to serve. They were sending him over. He didn't come off the bench. Well, apparently just a game misconduct because the Mounties still have 4 skaters, so it's a... Wait a minute. Now they're discussing things. The Mounties have 4 skaters out there right now, so it must have been just a game misconduct. No minor penalty. 13 seconds left on Brisbane's penalty. The draw to the left of Mike Hogan. Off the draw. Mounties managed to clear it, and it will trickle into the Raiders zone. Out of chase. Trey Shaft, open net. Shaft goes down and scores. He managed to get it in the net. He was brought down, and the puck trickled across the line. That is a shorthanded goal for Trey Shaft as MSJ leads it 4-1. 35 seconds left in the hockey game. Shaft and Maxfield both went crashing into the cage, and the puck went across the goal line before the cage came off the mooring. Shaft didn't get much of it, but he managed to trickle it into the empty net. 4 seconds left on the penalty to Brisbane. A shorthanded goal for Trey Shaft. Bauman on the assist, Trey Shaft on the goal, shorthanded, coming with 35 seconds left in the hockey game, and MSJ has taken a 4-1 lead. We still have no idea. Cosgrove, it had to be a game misconduct, but it was not a minor penalty. 4 seconds left on the penalty to Brisbane, so the Raider power play continues. That is a shorthanded goal for Trey Shaft, the empty net. Puck down, play back in, and Bauman has it at center now. J.B. Smith sends it into the Mountie zone. Brisbane's back, both teams at full strength. Barrett with it, swings it around left wing side for McGregor. Chadwick lost it in the zone to Mark Gunther. Skates it right to left to Mike Gunther, right wing circle, fires and scores! Mike Gunther finds the upper right-hand corner. It's 4-2. MSJ with 19 seconds left in the hockey game. Mike Gunther on the goal. And Mark Gunther will get an assist. The Gunthers Mike Gunther scores the second goal of the game for the Raiders, just some 16 seconds after Trey Schaff's shorthanded empty net goal. Play back in. Now 17 seconds left in the game. Brisbane pokes it into the Raiders zone for Bauman, far corner. Bauman bumped by J.B. Smith. J.B. Smith and Bauman digging at it. Matt Daly digging at it. 7 seconds left in the hockey game. Brisbane with it. Right wing circle. Brisbane wanted to center it. Deflected. 2 seconds left. 1. And that's the hockey game, and the Mounties have won it. That's your final. MSJ 4 and Rutland 2. And the Mounties have won 3 straight over the Raiders in 95-96. And who knows, they could meet again in the postseason, but the Mounties is stopping a little slump with a very intense, hard-fought win over Rutland High tonight. Game 3 goes to the Mounties. They won the first game in the regular season on the 23rd of December by a goal, won the championship game of the holiday tournament by a goal, winning Game 3 here in the regular season, the second game of the regular season. Of course, the other game, the championship game of that holiday tournament. A hard-fought 4-2 MSJ win here at Royce Mandigo tonight. We'll be back to wrap it up after this 60-second time.